Welcome into Between the Pylons. I'm John Camacho.
And this is Jacob Waters.
And guys, we have an awesome show for you guys this week. We are talking about the NFC season-long projections. We're going to be going our 1 to 4. We're going to be talking about the Bravada odds on each particular ranking for every division in the NFC. We're going to talk about some prop bets. Before we get to that, we are going to do the news and notes of the week. Just the big news. We're going to kind of consolidate a little bit because, guys, the season starts this week.
Oh, I'm so ready.
It's week one of the NFL season. College has kind of started, but not really. I don't think there's been like a good game yet. I saw Navy got blown out by whoever they played, BYU. Yeah. But guys, we are also going to be doing our week one projections at the end of this pod. We're actually going to put it as a new video on YouTube as well. If you just want to go see that, all of the timestamps are in the comments below or in the description below. So check that out. And this is the last week of T.Y. Hilton.
Yeah, last week for the T.Y. Hilton jersey. Thank you to everyone who has followed this so far, and we hope best of luck in getting it. If you're new to the pod or new to the channel, anything, subscribe, please like the video. And to enter the T.Y. Hilton jersey contest, all you got to do is drop a comment below, say here for the jersey, like the pod, just anything you want. It throws your name in the jersey.
Make fun of his hair if you want.
That's fine. Good, Some people may not even know that they're entering the jersey just because they're commenting like, this video sucks or something.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, man, you just won something.
You just won a jersey.
You just won a jersey. You're welcome. It works.
Yeah, and guys, if you're new, if this is your first week, go back and watch our other videos. You don't even have to watch them. Just go on, and comment on the older videos. You can win it there too, all right?
As long as you see the jersey hanging, that's the one that you can win.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's get started. Some of the big news. We have to start, I feel like, with some of the surprise cuts, right?
Yeah,
like that's the biggest thing. Adrian Peterson gets cut by the Washingtons, goes to the Lions. Were you surprised?
Yeah, I mean, AP's my dude. I really wasn't ready for that. And when you look at it from a fantasy stance, it was like, oh, God, where's he going to go? Because AP, I still believe, has gas in the tank. He has come out and said that he is going for the rushing record. Mm-hmm. He is pretty good ways away, 3 or 4 solid years left, and I do think he can do that. But with Washington cutting him, I was like, wow, that's sad because...
It's sad.
I mean, I know they have a lot of names in that backfield, and maybe they're wanting to go into a younger approach to it, but... Gosh, come on! Now you're telling me you couldn't use Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, and guys, on this pod, we have gone we've stood by Bryce Love. I will say when Adrian Peterson got cut, he did an interview with one of the beat writers out there, and he actually mentioned Antonio Gibson by name. Yeah. So maybe Antonio Gibson's the guy for Washington. We might that's the downside of not having any preseason
now, how about
or anything.
Their official starter though for week one?
J.D. McKissick.
McKissick.
Weird.
Washington, we don't really know what's going on. You're gonna have to play that one by ear.
And granted, week one, depth charts. That's who knows. It just doesn't mean anything. I don't think at this point, especially with COVID and all that. But we'll see what happens. He goes to the Lions. How does this affect your many Lions running back stock?
Yeah, I mean, Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift. You're definitely taking a hit. In a long-term dynasty thing, I think you're going to be fine. We know what AP's going to do for this year.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia's come out and said that they're going to use him week one.
Yeah.
Because it's not hard. I mean, AP's a smart running back, and how hard is it to say, hey, you're going to run a 36 blast or something?
Yeah.
Okay, boom, Adrian Peterson's just going to take off up the middle.
Yeah.
So it's going to be easy to find some goal line work for him. That's probably going to carry on the most, just because I think DeAndre Swift is going to be the guy that they want to use on first and second down.
Yeah.
Kerryon goes to more of the Kerryon and AP role now.
Yeah. I will say, we talked about it a couple weeks ago with the Leonard Fournette cutting, and then obviously with AP.
Yeah.
Both running backs go to a team that if you had the running back in fantasy, it's not killing you. Like if you needed Kerryon Johnson or DeAndre Swift to ball out to have a good year, you didn't have a very good roster.
Yeah, I mean, you were already struggling.
You're in a bad spot.
If you were betting on Rojo to be your running back one,
you were in a bad spot. Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's like they didn't ruin value. Like I think I was planning on starting Kerryon in one league because I thought he'd be a good week one starter, but he wasn't a guy I was worried about season long or that I was expecting to work season long. A couple other cuts. Mohamed Sanu. This was a shocker for me. Yeah. I was actually I had a good bit of stock in Mohamed Sanu because I thought he was going to be the wide receiver too on a Patriots team that didn't have any wide receivers really show up in camp, and I thought Sanu would just kind of fall into that nice little spot where Cam would target him a lot. I guess I was wrong. He's on. I mean, he's on off waivers. He's on the streets. We'll see what happens with him.
I mean, he's a talented receiver too. He had many great years in Atlanta. It was weird to see New England come out last year and trade a second-round pick. I mean, that's high capital.
Yeah.
Especially if you're Bill Belichick. You usually don't let go of stuff like that.
Yeah.
So everyone automatically thought, oh gosh, he's going to be implemented in every which way he can.
Yeah.
He's cut. I don't know what's going to happen, and I really don't think the Patriots wide receiver depth isn't anything to brag about. So
no. I mean, N'Keal Harry. N'Keal Harry.
N'Keal Harry. You still have Julian Edelman. Do a lot.
Yeah, beyond that, I don't know where they're going to go. Jacoby Myers popped a little bit on film last year, but beyond that, I don't know. As far as Mohamed Sanu's concerned, man, he's just one of those guys. He's a possession receiver. Wherever he goes, it'll be noteworthy, but not a huge loss.
Kudos to the Falcons for being able to flip their journey receiver for a second.
And they might get him back. I mean, that'd be funny,
there's
right?
a chance because they just cut Laquan Treadwell, too.
Yeah, and I will say, I actually applaud the Patriots and Bill Belichick for understanding, like, if he makes a bad move, he doesn't try and fit a square peg into a round hole. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
That is true. If there is something that he does, he'll cut it right away. Yeah. Lamar Miller brought them on. Everyone thought there might be something to it, myself included, gets cut.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where, like, in retrospect, it is obviously a bad move, but look, the Patriots had a 20-year dynasty for a reason, and they've been doing this kind of thing throughout it. Like,
they're the guys you can't really question.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the last big name that I thought was interesting was Clinton Dix. Gets cut by the Cowboys, presumably was a starting safety for them. Obviously, there's going to be some whispers, some concerns. Is this where Earl Thomas ends up going?
It's got to be.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, honestly,
because there was a few reports come out that said that Dallas didn't have any interest in Earl Thomas, and Jerry Jones himself came out and said that is not true at all. We have not decided anything on Earl Thomas, but their name's in the ring for it.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what happened to You go a few years back, and he was a very dominant safety.
Look, this is something I've always said, especially with defensive backs and running backs, specifically in the NFL. When they lose the physical edge, like the innate athletic ability, the rest of it goes downhill so fast.
And I still think Clinton Dix has got it, though, man. Many years at the Packers, he was a dominant force.
But to see him go from the Packers to the Bears and then now the Cowboys and cut, I have to assume that's gone.
They know way more than I do, and they're seeing something if he's going to his fourth team soon.
Yeah, so I would assume that it's kind of done for him. Same thing with Xavier Rhodes. Xavier Rhodes kind of fell off a cliff last year for your Vikings. Now he's in the Colts, and I don't think anybody's looking at him as the number one corner for the Colts, right?
No, he's not.
It's just one of those things where, like, when they lose it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's unfortunate. We'll move on. Some big news, and honestly, man, I got to give you props again this week. A lot of props going your way. 2 weeks in a row.
What'd I do?
You called Jadeveon Clowney.
Oh, that was day one. Yeah.
From the very beginning, you said
Titans
Jadeveon Clowney to the Titans. And guys, we talked about Jadeveon Clowney throughout the offseason. I mean, if you go back, it's probably been 20 episodes where we've mentioned Jadeveon Clowney
pre-corona.
In passing. Yeah, pre-corona for sure. And constantly from the beginning of training or the beginning of free agency to, we would have multiple segments throughout the offseason where we're like, what's going on with Jadeveon? No matter what happened, you stuck by, said
scared.
The Titans are the guys. You didn't waver. I wavered a lot. I was like, maybe not the Titans. I think it would have happened by now. No, he signs a $12 million 1-year deal, has the ability to go up to $15 million on incentives. Congratulations, man. You called this. What are you thinking?
I appreciate it. There were several times whenever it was he's talking to the Jets because they got the money.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, the 49ers are in here now. Now the Saints came out of nowhere.
The
Saints
Ravens
were asking
there.
about a sign and trade thing, which would have been ridiculous. And then it came out that if the league would have allowed the sign and trade, Jacksonville was going to pick him up and move him to Baltimore.
The Jags would have paid some money and then basically would have bought a pick from Baltimore.
Yeah, bought a draft pick. And then all of us are sitting here like, how can that defense get any better over at Baltimore? But here we are. He's in Nashville.
I'm glad that didn't happen. For a second, for the NFL and the way the NFL works,
we don't need that.
Sign and trade shouldn't be allowed. I don't think.
Exactly. It's just it's not fair for you to be able to use your cap as capital to be able to move stuff around and stuff.
Yeah.
For the Titans, though, I think they have a top 5 defense. It is a very not John Robinson-like move. It's a very not Tennessee Titans move just because time and time again we see the Titans miss out on top free agents.
I actually disagree. This is a huge value for Jadeveon Clowney talent.
Great value. I'm just saying big names don't usually land. I
totally understand where you're coming from.
It's not a big market.
I would say that this is a I feel like this is a Patriots like slam dunk move. I feel like this happens all the time. And John Robinson comes from the Patriots school, so that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. But a $12 million base salary for a guy of Jadeveon Clowney's talent is, I mean, you got to think the Dolphins offered him $17 million at the beginning of free agency, and he said no.
Yeah.
So now they're getting him for 12. This is a huge value for a team that, I mean, look, you said top 5 defense. I couldn't agree more. I think they are going to be a top 5 defense this year.
Look across the board.
I mean, all talent everywhere.
I love their linebackers in Rashaan Evans and Harold Landry. Then you have Jeffrey Simmons up front, Jadeveon Clowney now. You have Kevin Byard, Adoree Jackson. I know you're not big on Adoree necessarily.
No, yeah, but Adoree's a fine corner. Opposite of him is
serviceable everywhere on that defense. I mean, they're really physical freaks.
And we're not even talking about Vic Beasley, I believe they signed from.
Forgot about Vic.
So they get Vic Beasley from Atlanta, which there's a lot of questions about him. There's been some weird shit going on with that offseason. We don't know what's going to happen with Vic Beasley. I don't think anybody's maybe.
Still, they got a lot of good value deals on Vic and on Jadeveon. I see no reason as to Tennessee. This should be their year for the division.
Yeah, look, you gave them the division last year. I actually put them or last week. I gave them third place. Yeah. I am very worried about a down year from Ryan Tannehill. I am very worried about a down year from that offense in general. But man, there is no doubt that this team is going to win 9 games, and I still think nine wins could be third in that division. That's just how weird this division could play out for me. But yeah, we'll move on. I couldn't agree more. I'm very excited to see the Titans. Look, they could be 11-12 games.
Titans fans need to be excited. It's a good time to be in Tennessee.
They could win 12 games. No one's gonna be so shocked. I don't think. All right, so Leonard Fournette, we kind of talked about it a minute ago. He officially did sign with the Bucks. Is this a super team?
It's a Kevin Durant-like move,
isn't it? Yeah.
I saw people tweeting out Kevin Durant, and it was a picture of him in the Bucks jersey, just because these guys have so many names. And if you go back to last year, their team, I mean, if you're a fan of the Tampa Bay Bucks, it's time to rejoice. Look at what you got the GOAT, you got Gronk, you got Leonard Fournette now, and I can't even think about all the other ridiculous moves that have gone on to help that team.
And we got to think, this is a team they were 7-9 last year. They had a good defense last year. Their cornerbacks are weak. That's probably the weakest point of their entire team. But overall, they do have a pretty good offensive line, especially in the interior. They beefed up the offensive line in the draft. They beefed up their offensive weapons across the board. My biggest question before this Leonard Fournette deal was the running game and how it's going to fit with Tom Brady and the way he likes to run an offense. And that's kind of answered for me. Leonard Fournette feels like the missing piece on offense for me to feel a lot more confident about the Bucs this year. I know I've kind of been on the fence all year.
You have been.
How is this going to work?
On the Bucs. It's okay.
And look, I'm still not. I still kind of wonder, how's this going to work? Especially in a COVID year with all these new players. I would think that the year from year 1 to year 2, as far as from 2019 to year 20, the amount of players that you have intact in the offense, I would think that's going to help a lot. I know the Bills are high for some people because they have the most returning snaps of any team in the NFL. So that's just something that I do think about. It's something that does worry me about the Bucs. But man, it's hard for me to look at this team and look at this roster that on paper, I mean, it should be dominant. It should absolutely be dominant.
With the GOAT commanding the ship too, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I don't know who you're going to have getting out of this division, but it is one of the best divisions in football.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I mean,
Saints and Bucs are going to be going neck and neck.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really, really good one. I'm excited to see what happens throughout the season. And really, week 1, I mean, we're going to talk about later on.
Week 1, we get to see it.
Saints Bucs.
Sunday.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be super fun. One more thing to note about Leonard Fournette, which I just think is funny, he gets to double dip on his contract, right? So he gets a 1-year, $2 million deal with the Bucs, worth up to $3.5 million on incentives and stuff. He also gets the $4.2 million that he is owed from the Jags.
Yeah, no one picked him up.
Now, granted, there's a pending grievance that the Jags are trying to get out of that money. But if he wins that, he's going to make $8 million this year,
which puts him around top 10 running back.
And getting a paycheck from 2 different teams in Florida. That's got to be pretty nice. But moving on, Randy Gregory is coming back from suspension, making this Cowboys team just a little bit better. This defensive line is just, I mean, God, ridiculous.
Well, I'm not going to say anything about Randy Gregory. I've supported him before and stuff, with the suspensions and the blah, blah, blah. And it's just he has so much talent.
Yeah.
There are so many times where he could have stepped up and helped this team go into that. They're already there. I think Dallas is already there. They're at the elite level. He only helps them, and if he can keep his head on straight, it's good to go. But until I see it, I don't know. Fair
enough. I think that's a really good way to put it. But let's move on to probably the way more interesting news. Deshaun Watson signs a huge extension, 4-year, $156 million contract, $73 million guaranteed. He is going to be in Houston for a couple more years, man.
What do you think about it?
So first of all, he's going to average what, $29 million over the next couple of years,
39.
making 39. God, why did I say 29?
$10 million difference.
Yeah, $39 million in the next couple of years. He will be the highest paid quarterback over the next couple of years. Obviously, long term. Patrick Mahomes got a $500 million contract. Deshaun Watson
doesn't really get going. Pats is slowly climbing.
Yeah,
year 5 and 6 is where he gets to 40.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson gets $156 million, and that's second place. That's crazy difference in value. But I mean, Deshaun Watson deserves it. I think we both agree. He's going to be the cornerstone. I'm calling the Texans the fighting Deshaun Watsons this year because he's the only player on that team. He's the only person, a part of that team that I truly believe in this year, and I think he's going to will his team to a lot of wins. I mean, he's a true franchise quarterback, and this is how you got to pay those guys.
Yeah, generational. I would say generational talent when it comes to having being able to lock down your franchise talent like that. He's good to go. I think more importantly, the 4-year is the big mark that he wanted to get right there because he's setting his future up now to where once the market resets, go figure, the 5th year right here is right where Pat Mahomes' deal re-ups. Yeah. He's going to be back up on the market. He could go somewhere else. He's going to get bang for his buck, probably do another 4-year. He's going to have 3 contracts in him. No matter
absolutely.
What, easily.
So as long as he learns to maybe not hold onto the ball, just as long as he does, because he likes to stay.
Don't be taking those hits.
Yeah, man, just throw it away, bro.
You can't blame him. Bill O'Brien's barely got him in O-line.
I swear, it's 2nd and 4. You don't need to take a hit to go 4 yards down the field. All right, moving on. DeAndre Hopkins signs a 2-year extension worth $54.5 million. He becomes the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Obviously, highest paid wide receiver. Couple caveats for this contract. One, there's a no trade clause. He is going to be in Arizona for the next 5 years, assuming he's not cut. The total deal is worth $94 million, and he's going to average out to about $18.8 million a year.
I think it's a great deal. I think if you're Arizona, you got this somehow landed in this trade to where you could get rid of David Johnson, who was a cap casualty to you, and a 2nd-round pick and land one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. Yeah. Then you do your biggest job, which is locking him down for those years. It's awesome.
Yeah. All right. So I did the math here because I was just kind of interesting because the whole trade is so ridiculous, right? From the moment we heard about it to now, I'm still flabbergasted that this trade happened. They traded DeAndre Hopkins reportedly because he was going to cost too much money. Well, which team this year is spending more money on the wide receiver position?
It's Houston. They have money all over the place.
Exactly right. If you look at what Houston's spending, they're spending, I'm going to pull it up right here. They're spending $10 million on Will Fuller, $8 million, $6.9 million, and $3.74 million on their top 4 receivers, right? And granted, look, if you account for the average salary, Arizona's paying a little bit more for their wide receivers. But this year, DeAndre Hopkins is still only worth $12.5 million. They're paying Larry Fitzgerald $11 million, which is kind of just like you're a.
Well, he's towards the end.
Anyways, you're a veteran. This is kind of your veteran paycheck. Like, you're not maybe worth $11 million, but for the amount of value that he brings to the team off the field, he's clearly worth $11 million. And then the next highest paid wide receiver is getting paid $1 million. Yeah, the Houston Texans are still paying more at the wide receiver position. Just ridiculous. Just the team management from Houston is just so sad. It's what makes me sad about Deshaun Watson kind of being stuck on a team that kind of needs an internal rebuild. But you can't rebuild when you have a franchise guy. You start rebuilds with your quarterback. You get the Tua, you get the Burrow, you get the Herbert, you get any of those big name guys that get the Andrew Luck whenever he went to Indianapolis. It's like, okay, this is our piece. We're going to run it for 4 years and then see what we got. Well, you got it, Houston. But now you just don't have any pieces around him, and you don't have money to spend because you spent it all in David Johnson, Brandon Cooks. Yeah. And what this reminds me of, or what I'm seeing and what I'm worried about, is okay, so you know this. Before we ever had the podcast, I used to always talk about the Aaron Rodgers getting no help from his team, right? Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, and I'm talking about the McCarthy era. I'm talking about the era where the Packers would never go out in free agency. They would only have homegrown guys, and they would never bring in the talent around Aaron Rodgers to help him that I felt like he so desperately needed. He never really had a true running back. He never really truly had like this elite. He had good wide receivers, Randall Cobb, other guys on that team that were good. He never had like a true, like, legit number 1 star receiver in the league, I would argue, and maybe some people would.
You're fine in saying that.
And even now still doesn't feel like he's getting enough help. The defense was never great, and they had pieces, but it was never a fully formed unit. And Aaron Rodgers, it always felt like, was just willing his team to the playoffs every year, and then he'd lose, and it just was one of those things. I'm worried this is what's going to happen to Deshaun Watson. I'm worried this is going to, and granted, Aaron Rodgers got a Super Bowl early, so he kind of got the monkey off his back. I'll be honest with you, with the way the AFC looks, with the way his own division looks, let alone, Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, no, I'm talking about the AFC. I went back to Deshaun Watson. Yeah, the way the AFC looks, I don't see the Texans getting to a Super Bowl anytime soon. No, I don't see the
third best quarterback in the AFC.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely agree.
I mean, you have Pat and you have Lamar right there, and those guys' teams they've shown time and time again. Whether or not everyone agrees, because I know you have a little bit of dissonance with the Chiefs spending some money on some of those role players.
Yeah,
they're still keeping the band together, and it's better to do that. Like I said, if you have a window, if you have one of these guys that can get you a Lombardi, there's 9 teams that have never even had one.
Yeah,
I think there's 5 that have never been to one.
Yeah,
you have to open that window, and you have to try your hardest with salary cap, with your players, everything, keeping it open. And I just don't want to see Deshaun get wasted.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about. I would hate to see that. This is a little bit more personal to me. But you look back, even the Dolphins with Dan Marino.
Yeah,
there's nobody that was alive back then that would say Dan Marino wasn't a top 2, top 3 quarterback in the league for years, for a decade run almost.
He's an easy top 10 all time.
And he never got any help. He had a couple wide receivers, never got a run game, never got a defense, made it to one Super Bowl early, lost it, and just was never able to make it back. A very unfortunate career for Dan Marino. I hope this doesn't happen to Deshaun Watson. I want to see all the greats get a ring. I really do. Yeah. But we'll move on here. Josh Gordan was signed by the Seahawks. He's still suspended, but I do think that's worth noting. Anything there? Any?
I picked him up in a dynasty league.
I saw that. Yeah. I did. I was going to, and then I saw you did it in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I spent like $3-4 on my fab budget, and it was like, why not? I mean, if there's a chance that it could be Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Josh Gordon, and even if Josh Gordon doesn't play for Seattle, if he can just show that he has his head on straight, he's 28 years old.
Yeah.
Plenty of time left.
Has a dude ever gotten more chances in the NFL?
No, not in the NFL. He reminds me of John Jones in the UFC, though.
Right?
I mean, it just comes time and time again.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, granted, he just, I mean, I know there's some real demons that he has, and I don't want to kind of poke fun at that, but got more chances than he probably deserved with the Browns. Goes to the Patriots. Obviously didn't get a ton of chances with the Patriots because the Patriots aren't going to play that game, but, had his opportunity on the Patriots, and then now with the Seahawks getting another chance. I mean,
I just saw that he auctioned off his Patriots Super Bowl ring, pulled in like $150,000 or something.
That's just ridiculous.
I hope everything with him is good. So, I mean, you only want to see the best. It is just so much talent.
Yeah.
It is a shame to see it be wasted.
It really is. All right, last thing on news, and I really wanted to bring this up because I think it's very, very interesting, and it points to something I've been saying all offseason. Here we go. Kareem Hunt gets a 2-year extension, $13.25 million over the next 2 years, 8.5 guaranteed. You know where I'm going with this.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pay the guy, you got to use the guy, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, of course. Guys, look, this is the last year on this contract. The Browns know what they want to do on offense. So what do? They keep the talent on their team and get them a cheap running back, fairly cheap running back before he's about to ball out. And I'm not saying he's going to have just crazy fantasy numbers by any means, but he is going to be utilized in that offense along with Nick Chubb. I've been fighting the narrative, and I know I know I've annoyed you with it. I'm probably annoying the listeners with it as well. But man, the narrative that Nick Chubb is going to be the lead only back in the Browns is just so incorrect in my opinion, and I think this points to it, man. You don't pay your backup running back.
No, that's for sure. I mean, he's definitely going to have a role in this offense, and I think with Stefanski, the way that he is going to use both running backs, Kareem Hunt's going to be able to have serviceable numbers. I still don't think it's 50-50.
That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
But for people saying Nick
Chubb is not a first-round fantasy running back.
It is disrespectful to call Kareem Hunt a backup running back because he is not a backup running back.
Exactly. Yeah. He's the number 2 on a very good running back duo.
Yes. Anywhere else, he's the number 1.
Yeah, most play. Yeah, absolutely agree. All right, let's move on to the meat of the show. We are talking about the NFC. Let's go with the NFC East first, and I'm gonna let y'all know we agree on a lot of this. We really do. So we're gonna go here with the NFC East first. Give me your number 1.
Number 1, Dallas Cowboys.
Obviously, right?
You have to. Getting Mike McCarthy on there, I think this is a legitimate Super Bowl team. They have every single box checked, including coach now who. I know you may not like him as much as I do, but he has a Lombardi to his name, and hopefully he can get these guys together and go.
Yeah, no, look, I couldn't agree more. The Cowboys feel destined to win this division. I mean, look, the Eagles are always the other team there, right? Especially the past couple of years. Well, man, the Eagles are injured from bottom to top. I really don't see how the Eagles win this division. Granted, they did it last year when they had a lot of injuries. I will stand by the fact that Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott, so that can be a huge equal. Oh, I do believe that. Yeah, do you disagree?
I do too.
Okay, yeah. So we're on the same page. I thought we did.
I'm just glad.
Some people are gonna disagree with that, which is fine.
I think it is the unpopular opinion to be a Wentz over Dak guy.
Yeah, well, look, if you account injuries, if you ask me who do I want on my team, and then you have to account injuries into the fact, I'd probably say Dak because he's been healthy. But yeah, as far as talent on the field, I don't think
stand by it. If you were to flip flop him, Wentz with Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Dak with Philly.
Ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That'd be scary. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, quarterback can be a great equalizer, but Carson Wentz is hurt now. He's questionable for week 1. He's going to play week 1, but still. I love the Eagles. I think they're a great team when healthy, but they just haven't been healthy. They've taken hits all over the field. We have documented it pretty well in this podcast, and just it seemed like every week throughout training camp, we're like, man, Eagles are back on the injury report. Multiple players are back on the injury report, just across the board. Very, very
unfortunate. They wanted to cut Alshon and trade him. They can't. You don't have Jalen Reagor for the first 2 or 3 weeks, supposedly. You've lost 2 starting offensive linemen. The D-line is banged up. Your secondary last year didn't even matter if they were hurt or not. They were so bad. Yeah. You finally were able to get some pieces in there, and they're still getting banged up. Yeah,
it's just unfortunate. So, look, we have them at 2, and we agree on this division.
Oh, they're an easy 2. I still think they're a playoff caliber team.
Yeah, we have them 2. It wouldn't surprise me if they took a nosedive this year. Like if you made me point to the teams, like, because we all kind of have the same amount of teams that are like on the upper echelon of the NFL, at least the top half, and you made me point to one team that could fall down to that. Yeah, the Eagles would probably be on that list for me. I mean, right? Like just looking at what's going on.
No, I mean, if you lose Carson Wentz too, especially, and I mean, when was the last time he played a full season? Has he? I don't know. I can't say it off the top of my head. That's how injury prone he is. So if he goes down, I mean, I could see it blowing up. Yeah,
it'd be unfortunate.
What's a blow up? 6 wins?
I was saying 6 wins,
I could see that sadly.
And what I'm saying is, like, I could see the Giants winning 6 games. I see the Giants winning 6 or 7 games and getting the second spot in that division just by happenstance. But let's get to that. Giants are number 3 respectively. Do you have anything really to?
No, they really got to start working on that defensive core. They really don't have any pieces that you can build off of. Offensively, though, I'll say it. I like some of their pieces that they've added to the offensive line.
Yeah.
I think receiver is hurting for them, but Darius Slayton is a diamond in the rough, if you will, for a 6th round pick wherever he was taken.
Yeah, it was like
Daniel Jones. Last year on paper, he played good.
Yeah, he did.
People always make fun of him. He was the laughing stock of the draft whenever the Giants came out and picked him at 5th, 6th overall, wherever it was.
He played very well.
He did, especially with nothing around him. And you have a legend at running back. If you can just get through this year.
We know what the team needs to be.
Get some more picks. Yeah, you'll be okay.
How unfortunate is it that the Giants thought they were there? Take a Barkley, and now it feels like Barkley's being wasted.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they thought they were there as much as you just can't justify passing up on that talent.
I truly believe they thought they had one more year with Eli, and they were going to take a shot. I really believe that because you got to think they took Barkley over all the quarterbacks in that draft pretty much. I mean, because they had the 2nd pick in the draft, they could have had anybody but Baker.
Yeah, they could have had Darnold.
Yeah,
Josh
Darnold
Allen.
was very highly touted. Man, imagine if they took Josh Rosen, how different his career would be right now.
Yeah,
like I mean, it's just crazy how things like that work. All right, but we'll kind of move on there. Yeah, I do agree with you. Their secondary is just absolutely awful. If you check out the wide receiver cornerback matchups video that I did earlier this week, I mentioned that and how bad their cornerback room is. Their defense in general isn't great. But I do agree. Barkley's good for a couple games. I think they do have it figured out at quarterback and running back. They have Evan Ingram, so they have some pieces on offense. Yeah. They can win some games. And then Washington at number 4.
Gotta be.
Yeah, I do agree. I do think they have pieces again. I mean, look, I think Ron Rivera is a very good head coach. I think he's going to be able to utilize the defensive line that they have and be able to make some things happen on defense. They're not going to be, I think, as god awful as people are maybe expecting. Like I said, I don't think they're the number 1 pick next year. I really don't. I think they're bottom 10 for sure. But
I put them at a bottom 5. They're a bad team. I mean, there's a lot of places where they need help, but they do have Brandon Sheriff.
Yeah.
All-pro offensive lineman. You have Dwayne Haskins, who we get to see. I've heard a lot of good things about him, and Ron Rivera's pretty known for being able to help out quarterbacks, if you will.
Yeah.
Scary Terry, Antonio Gibson, I've heard good things about. The defense is loaded.
Yeah, especially the defense line. So they have pieces. Again, at 4, as far as our Bovada rankings here, as far as, from 1 to 4, there's nothing super interesting. Bovada agrees with us for the most part, so we don't have anything specific that we really need to bring up there. There wasn't any, great deals, I don't think, as far as betting on any particular team in the NFC East. But we'll move on. NFC North.
That's my division.
That's your division, and we disagree. This is the only division we disagree on, by the way.
And we don't disagree on who gets the crown.
Number 1 is the Vikings. I think this is a tough division, and they don't win it, I'm not going to be absolutely shocked. I can't say the same for the NFC East. If the Cowboys don't win the division, I'll be surprised. If the Vikings don't win the division, I won't. But I'll be honest, there's 3 teams in this division that I could see winning.
3?
Yeah, I know I'm crazy for that, but we'll get to that in a second. We'll talk about the Vikings. I'll let you take it over.
For me, there's 2, and I think the edge that it comes for me is the addition of Yannick Ngakoue, the subtraction of Kevin Stefanski. I know I like him a lot as a coach, but the system and stuff just really wasn't clicking down the road sometimes. Whenever, we had a team that just really got into a lot of close games. We lost a sloppy one to the Bears at Soldier Field. We lost a sloppy one to the Packers. And that right there, that's the division difference, right? So hopefully we get back to the mean. We get some wins. Kirk's a great quarterback. Dalvin Cook healthy. Justin Jefferson gets to step up. I like our team a lot.
Yeah, I think you have a great
cornerbacks are hurting. We are hurting in that.
You are, but like I said, I think you have a great nucleus of players, and just absolute ballers on every tier of the defense. So I'm not really worried about the defense. You can figure it out at corner. You have some great safeties. You have some good pieces at linebacker. Great defensive line now. So you're going to figure it out at corner. I think it'll be okay. On the other side of the field, I think you're kind of the same team you were last year, which was a good offensive team. I mean, you have a great offensive line. You have a good offensive line, not great, but a good offensive line. We're going into a second offensive line. Going into a second year of kind of being you have a good nucleus. Like they're not like the Vikings of old, just having no offensive line.
And it's less on us getting better because, like you said, we're kind of bringing out the same thing. I think it's tweaked in a few areas where it's going to be upgraded. I think it's the decline of the Packers is what I think is going to happen this year.
So let me finish with the Vikings because I do think they're, if not improved on offense, they're very close to the same. I don't think, look, Stephon Diggs is a huge loss, but Justin Jefferson's going to go in there and be very, very good. I do think Adam Thielen's going to step up and play that wide receiver 1 role. And then, you're still a running football team. You have one of the best young running backs in the league in Dalvin Cook. Great football team. We'll go to the Packers next.
Yeah.
Because we disagree, or we agree, but then we might disagree as well.
They won't be 13-3.
Yeah, they're not going to be 13-3. You have them at 2. I have them at 3.
Whoa.
Yeah, I do. I have them at 3. So at 3, they are plus 290 to be the 3rd team in the division. And I feel pretty confident that they're going to fall off a little bit. According to the Bovada odds, they're at 290.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel confident of that, and I'm gonna tell you why. First of all, if you're staying the same, you're getting worse in the NFL. We all know that. We need to see production. That defense was good last year, but it wasn't great, and they didn't add any pieces to it to make it better, in my opinion. The offense was okay last year. It was only good because Aaron Rodgers had moments of good play and then moments of meh play. But overall, didn't have a lot of help other than Davante Adams. I think it's going to be kind of the same story this year. Davante Adams is going to be a dominant wide receiver, obviously. I'm not excited about their tight end position. I'm not excited about their wide receiver opposite of Davante Adams. Some people are saying MVS has really stepped up in camp. Look, I'll believe it when I see it.
I've heard that for a few seasons.
Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it on that. Alan Lazard might actually have a chance to be an undrafted rookie that comes in and gets some starting time this year. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. And then you spend, your draft, you really kind of wasted this draft. I feel like they didn't add any pieces that are going to make their team better. They get a tight end in the 3rd round that's a blocking tight end. I don't think it's going to help them out a whole lot this year. Obviously, we know about the running back, A.J. Dillon, who's not even going to start for the first half of the season, or first month of the season. That's according to beat writers for the Packers. And then, of course, your backup quarterback that you drafted in the 1st round. You didn't help yourself. I think they got worse, and this division was too close to get worse.
Exactly. That's one of the things. They're so close. You can't afford to just have a draft where you have Aaron Rodgers is ticking away.
Yeah.
I mean, he's towards the end, probably 3-4 years left where he's this great quarterback like he is, and he is truly great, too.
Yeah.
I've seen him. I mean, I've been a Vikings fan my whole life, and I've sadly had to see it, and it's just terrifying to know some of the plays that he can make. And he doesn't look that athletic, but he can throw dimes, and they are wasting it away. Sad.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And the last thing I want to say is the Packers were 10-1 in 1-score games last year. 10-1. So that is a stat that always regresses to the mean. All right, you go historically, it always regresses to the mean. I think if the Packers get 10 wins, that is impressive to me. I don't see them. I think they're a 9-7, 8-8 team this year. I love Aaron Rodgers. I hate jumping off the bandwagon. Aaron Rodgers might be the only reason they get to that 10-11 win mark. I think 13-3 is next to impossible in this division, in this conference. But
I don't know how they got to it last year, honestly. I mean, we said out of 13-3 teams, it was pretty unappealing.
Yeah.
I mean, look at what happened to him in the playoffs, you know?
They just got absolutely roasted, yeah.
Every single time that they played a high-caliber team when the lights were bright, the 49ers trashed them on that, I think it was Week 15 Monday night game. Yeah. It was bad. I think they get to 10 wins. I think the Vikings take it with 11.
Yeah. All right, and then this is where we disagree.
Yeah,
my number two and your number 3, I have the Lions at number 2 at plus 450 according to Bovada odds. I actually think there's a good chance, no matter how this works out, I am putting $10 on the Lions to get second in their division on Bovada.
Win 45 off there, right?
Yeah, I would win $45. I feel pretty good about that, actually. This is why. First of all, Matthew Stafford was having a career year. If you look at his first 8 games of the season, and if you extrapolate that to the second half of the season, it would have been 5,000 yards. Yeah, 5,000 yards. Just an absolutely ridiculous season. I don't have the stats off the top of my head. This is a football team. This is going to be his 3rd year with Matt Patricia and playing in that offense. The first year didn't look great. Second year, he obviously got his legs under him. If he is healthy, if the back is healed, if he is there for the season, I think he's going to be, first of all, a fantasy nightmare. I have him in fantasy in a lot of leagues because I punt that position a lot of times. I think he's going to be very, very dominant. Look, the run game isn't going to be great, right? Like, we're not super excited about the run game, but look, they're going to figure it out. They have AP.
No, I don't think it's going to be bad. I think fantasy-wise it's bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Swift and carry on, I like.
Yeah, I was going to say they're going to figure it out. Yeah. However it works out, I'm not worried about the run game. And the pass game I'm very excited about. Kenny Golladay is a very good player. Marvin Jones has been just shit on throughout the offseason. I don't understand why. He's a good player. Actually had some, I believe, wide receiver 2 numbers in the first half of the season before Matthew Stafford goes down. So, he's a good, dominant player. I think they're a really good 1-2 punch. You obviously have the safety net and Danny Amendola sitting there. Yeah, their offense is going to be really good.
Step up a little
TJ Hawkinson's going to be there. They have names on the offense. And then on the defensive side of the ball, this is a Matt Patricia-led football team. Look, the defense has been a work in progress for the past 3 years, but they've added a lot of names. They've beefed it up over the past couple of years in the draft and in free agency. They've added pieces throughout that defense. Look, the cornerback position, I'm a little worried about, but they do have the Jeff Okudah. They did sign Desmond Trufant from the Atlanta Falcons. I'm not excited about their safeties, but they have Rashawn Gary as that D lineman, linebacker type of mold. I don't know exactly who he's going to play, but they have some pieces all over that defense. And this is a type of coach that I believe, just give him talent and he'll figure it out. I do believe in Matt Patricia from that standpoint. Yeah, I'm excited about the Lions this year. They were the absolute best 3-10-1 team I've ever seen, or 3-11-1, whatever they were. They tied with Arizona. They were winning a lot of games at the half, and they the second half they would lose. I think when I did my breakdown of the Lions, I had the stat that was awesome. They were winning, I believe, 10 of the 11 games they lost at the half and lost in the second half. Again, regression to the mean. That is not going to stay the same. They're going to figure it out. And, by the way, the second half of the season's a wash, right? You lose Matthew Stafford. They had no backup that was worth anything.
Down, we knew it was happening.
Yeah, it was over. I'm excited about the Lions this year. Tell me why I'm wrong.
I think number 2 is very bold for them. I still think the defense has a lot of room to grow. Especially they have the worst defense in this division. Yes, this is one of the best defensive divisions in football when you have Chicago, Green Bay, and Minnesota in there. But the Lions, I just think they're not going to be able to compete in that regard. It's going to be a lot of high scoring. Matt Stafford's going to be able to keep them in the game with all those offensive weapons. Yeah, they're going to mess around and win some ball games. 6 wins, 7 wins wouldn't even. It would. I'd be a little surprised if they go 8-8.
Really? So you think? Yeah, I think they're going to have a winning season this year. I'd be very confident.
Yeah, I don't see winning season. I just don't think it's going to happen yet. I want it to, but the defensive side of the ball has got to get better.
Fair enough. How about this? Let me ask you this, and this is just something that I do believe. If you take away the quarterback position and you compare the Packers and the Lions from top to bottom, just the roster, top to bottom, which roster's better? Because I would stand here and say that the Lions are better.
Defense is Packers, offense is Lions.
Yeah, I think it's close. And look, you can do the same thing with any team. I think take away the quarterback position in this entire division. The Vikings have the best roster top to bottom. Take away the quarterback. The Bears have a great roster top to bottom. If you take away the quarterback position, that quarterback is a huge equalizer.
The Bears, they just need to take it away altogether.
Yeah, but honestly, you put a capable to good quarterback in that spot. They have weapons all over the offense. They have a great defense, no matter what you say.
The Bears need a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, they do.
Just like we needed a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, and look, we'll move on to the Bears at number 4. Yeah, they're bottom dwellers in this division until they figure it out with the coach and the quarterback, the two most important things in the NFL.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to the Bears?
No, I mean, their defense is legit. They're there. They're going to be able to stay in ball games. The problem is I don't think you should want to stay in ball games. Yeah. I think this is one of the best quarterback drafts that we're going to see in years to come with Justin Fields, Trey Lance, and McJesus and Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
Why not be a top 10 pick and try to secure yourself some capital to be able to move up and get one of those guys? Because if you give them a serviceable quarterback, like you said, I think the floor is 7 wins. It should be.
Oh, the floor is a winning season.
There's way too much talent there. They are just a few years removed from the Cody Parkey double doink that happened, and people were talking about this being Chicago's division for years to come.
Yeah, I mean, really, they didn't feel like they were that far off. We thought Matt Nagy was going to be the final piece of the puzzle, and I think he's a square peg in a round hole. I feel that's kind of where I'm at with Matt Nagy. I think the only issue is
I don't like the way he's handling the quarterback situation.
Yeah, I don't like the way he's handled the quarterback situation. I understand. Look, they started Trubisky. We got to talk about that for a second because that was some news that we omitted because it was just kind of it was on the back burner a little bit. They start Trubisky. And I think the only reason they did that is because Trubisky has been in the offense for 2 years and Nick Foles hasn't. And
Nick Foles is the king of being able to step up whenever you don't.
Yeah, exactly. I think
it's Trubisky's to lose, which we think he will, and then Nick Foles has no problem.
But if Trubisky has if Trubisky just maybe needed a push or whatever it is, he needed to figure it out. The talent's still there from college. He was the second or third pick in the draft for a reason. I mean, he has some talent.
Is there a world where you see him make the right steps and get back to the way to where he was taken before Pat Mahomes and Deshaun? And I know it's not going to be in that regard.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Do we get to see the Trubisky that everyone has wanted to see?
There's a world where he gets to a Kirk Cousins level.
So that's where he's at now.
Or like he's on his way to Bustville.
He could be a fringe 15-10 quarterback. That's where I put Kirk.
Yeah. I was gonna say he's like I said. If you made me guess right now, I would put a lot of money on the fact that he's not going to be in the league in 3 years.
Yeah, I mean he's sitting at the bus stop to Bustville.
Yeah. So he's right there. There's absolutely a world. First of all, he needs to use his legs more. The Bears are a better football team when they allow him to use his athletic ability and run more than he did last year. And that in his rookie season, he actually ran a good bit and he was able to kind of make some plays. I like that part of him. He does not look at the end of the day. His biggest issue is he doesn't survey the field very well.
Yeah,
he's a poor decision maker and not incredibly.
The thing that he's not good at is being a quarterback.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. So like if you made me bet, obviously I don't think he's going to do it. But yeah, look, if he can figure out, I don't know what it is in a quarterback that makes you better at surveying the field. I think it's more of you either have it or you don't. Mm-hmm. Like I mean, that's just one of those things. Like how fast can you process information? How fast can you read a defense? How fast can you make a split-second decision? Because he has the arm, the athletic ability is there. He actually has some pretty good feel in the pocket. That's one of his better traits. His accuracy isn't great, but it's not so bad that you can't make it work with him. I mean, so you're not going to ask him to make, the crazy throws that like the Aaron Rodgers and the top performers in the league.
9 back shoulder fades and stuff.
No, you're not asking him to do that. But to be a formidable quarterback in the NFL, it's possible. Not likely, but possible. We'll see. Yeah, I'm sorry, Bears fans. I know we have a buddy, Gavin, who's listening and just heard that and was like, man, fuck you. Sorry, buddy.
Don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either. But
you got Khalil Mack, though.
Got a dude.
You got it.
And you're done paying for him. You just finished paying for him this year.
Yeah.
All right, so the NFC South, we agree on the rest of the division, so we just kind of have to go back and forth on where we're at. Let's go bottom to top here, because I think the most interesting part is 1-2 punch for the NFC South.
Yeah, of course.
At number 4, I do have the Panthers there. At minus 290, they are the favorites to land in that 4th spot. I think they have a chance to get. I was actually really, really, really close to putting them at 3. I really was. I was between
Falcons at the bottom.
I was between Falcons and Panthers for the bottom. I ended up going Falcons because, again, I think they're bringing back a lot of pieces. They have a good connective unit on the offense and even defense. For this season in particular, I think that's going to be really, really important. The Panthers have a lot of moving parts. But, I mean, again, I'm probably more excited about the Panthers. I'll be watching more Panthers football games than Falcons football games.
Wow.
I think you're going to be more exciting. I think
I really like what the Falcons are bringing to the table. That's where we talked about this, I think it was maybe a month or two ago, about which team we like more. And I like the Falcons more. I like their pieces on offense. I love Matt Ryan. I think he's one of those unsung heroes of quarterbacks that we're going to miss whenever they're gone. Reminds me of a Matt Stafford type. These are guys that consistently show up and they throw for 4,000 to 5,000 yards
every year.
Matt Ryan has an MVP to his name, too.
Yeah.
Should have a Super Bowl if they didn't tank. I don't know what happened there. You have Julio Jones. I mean, it's all the pieces. Get
Calvin
back to Carolina,
Ridley,
though.
You have Hayden Hurst.
It's good. I just don't know what Matt Rule is going to bring to the table. I don't know what type of offensive scheme he's going to try to do. I don't know if they're going to – I know they're not going to utilize McCaffrey as much as he was last year.
Yeah.
I saw last year as the absolute mountaintop of usage for any player that you could see just because, I mean, he had over a 75% usage rate.
Yeah, and that can't happen again, especially for a guy you're paying long term. I mean, you just can't expect that to last throughout.
You don't want to, especially
at a running back position. I do feel more confident than you as far as the type of offense they're going to. I feel pretty confident that they're going to bring the LSU Saints style of offense. That's what Joe Brady did for LSU. Look, Joe Brady was with the Saints before he went to LSU. Then he goes to LSU, implements that offense. Now he's back in the NFL with the Carolina Panthers, grabs the backup quarterback from the Saints. That is going to be their offense. I am fairly confident. I'm pretty fucking confident that that's going to be their offense. That's what they're going to try and run. And I think this offense for the Panthers is going to be high flying and a lot of fucking fun. A lot of fun. Defense from bottom to top. Their defense is going to be trash. They have
Falcons
a couple.
Defense is trash.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They have a couple names on the defensive line that I'm excited about for the Panthers. But beyond that, look, they have a corner that I still believe in that's been very up and down since he's entered the league. I forget his. No, James Bradbury's with the Giants now. I can't remember his name anymore. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, the Panthers defense is going to be trash. You're absolutely right. They drafted all defensive players in the draft. I think one of the first teams to ever do that for a reason, because they knew they had to address that side of the field because the offense is already there. It really is.
That D-line is stout, though.
It is.
Brian Burns, Derek Brown. I mean, it looks good.
Derek Brown and they got the dude, Yuta Gross-Matos, I believe, in the second round. Yeah. So they built up that defensive line, which is probably the first place you go when you need to retool your defense. On the Falcons side of the ball, I think the Falcons defense is going to suck too. That's where I was with this. That's why I was so close. I think the Panthers offense is going to be really good. I think the Falcons offense is going to be. The Falcons have 11 first round picks on their offense.
10 cutting Laquan.
Okay, 10 first round picks on their offense.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I feel really confident both these offenses are going to be really good. I feel really confident that there's going to be a lot of fantasy points to be had when the Falcons and Panthers play both times this year. But beyond that, I don't know who's going to be 3 and 4 because I think they're both going to lose a lot of games to the teams that can outscore them and that can stop them even a little bit. I just don't know. I really like even talking right now. I'm like, man, do I believe in the Panthers offensive, in Joe Brady and the offensive scheme more than the Falcons? Kinda.
I believe in the coaching that Carolina that they bring.
Yeah.
We haven't really seen it yet. I mean, we saw it in college. We saw it at that level work.
Yeah, it's a huge unknown.
But I know what I've seen in Atlanta and time again.
And I've been disappointed.
It is very frustrating.
Yeah, I've been disappointed in what Atlanta's done.
They refuse to get the ball to Julio in the red zone. I don't know what it is about not throwing something about. It's not appealing to throw to a 6'6" wide receiver who runs a 4.3.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know why. We're gonna get to prop bets in a minute, and I almost put the Julio Jones touchdowns prop bet on there, but I was like, you know what, we don't.
It's disrespectful to how good of a receiver he is too. He is the best receiver in the league.
Oh, absolutely. Look, I know I just went on a huge rant on the Panthers and Falcons. I'm gonna stand by the Falcons will be ahead of the Panthers again, based on the fact that there's less moving parts than there is with Carolina.
Bovada agrees with us with the Panthers.
Oh
too.
yeah, absolutely.
Minus 290. It says Panthers are at the bottom.
Yeah, so they definitely agree with us.
Yeah.
But let's get to the top 2 teams of this division. We both agree, and I'm kind of surprised we both agree. I am, because I put the Bucks.
You think I was just automatically supposed to put the Bucks?
I put the Bucks at 2. I put the Bucks at 2. You sent me in your division picks last night, and I was looking at it as I was making the rundown. I was like, Man, we agree on the NFC South.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Why do we agree on this? Because I've gotten enough shit on for shitting on the Bucs already. So I want to hear you say.
Because I think that this is going to be a really tight race on 11 to 12-ish wins, and I think the Saints are just going to be able to get the tiebreaker and come out on top. It's no disrespect for the Bucs.
No, you hate the Bucs, bro.
No. This team is great. The Saints still have this machine going. The Bucs has got to start. We haven't seen it yet. We'll see it week 1. We'll see what happens with Tom Brady and everything. But I think even if they get to going, which they will, they can only hope to match what the Saints do on their production level. The Saints' defense is jacked. Their offense with Drew Brees and the way that Sean Payton is able to run that thing. Kamara's out there. Michael Thomas. I mean, you can't stop what they do.
Yep.
They're a shoo-in for the playoffs. They're my Super Bowl pick.
Yeah. Oh, you gave it away, bro.
I did.
You gave it away. Don't give it away.
I did.
All right. So, like, I if I said anything, I would just be echoing what you said. Yeah. I completely agree with you. I'm gonna not believe in the Saints when they prove me wrong. Look, I'm not the biggest Drew Brees fan, but they have hidden.
We also saw him. We didn't see him in 6 games, and look what they did.
Yeah, but my thing is, as far as Drew Brees is concerned, they have hidden his deficiencies very well over the past couple of years. Oh yeah, and they have Jameis Winston as their backup quarterback. So if Drew Brees does go down,
don't you go hollering for Jameis now.
I'm not. No, not hollering at all for Jameis. His decision making is fucked. But I mean, you have a pretty capable backup quarterback as far as talent goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't deny the talent.
He's got talent.
Decision making's fucked, but
he's not as good as what Teddy could do for the Saints, though. The way that the offense ran.
It's a different type of quarterback,
exactly.
But I mean, Jameis Winston can do things that Teddy Bridgewater couldn't do in his dreams.
Jameis took this role for a reason. He knows what he's doing. He needs to learn. He's going to learn and get the head on right. And if he can, watch out.
I think that's the right decision because if he's looking at it and says, "Man, I need to figure out how to be a quarterback." And then go back and be a quarterback in the NFL for the next 10 years. I mean, I think he's playing the long game. He took $1 million to be a backup quarterback.
New Orleans, that's worth 1 year of $1 million.
Yeah, that's worth plenty more than that. All right, we'll move on from the NFC South to the NFC West, which I think is the most interesting division. And then again, the same kind of thing happened. Shocked we agree on this.
That's what I was thinking. I was waiting to have a disagreement, an argument of some kind, because I thought for sure you would have the Cardinals at 2. I thought for sure you would have the Rams somewhere up there. I thought about putting the Rams up there because we were only 2 years removed from their Super Bowl push.
Listen, let's tell everybody where our rankings are, and then we'll get into it. But first, I do want to say, this could go any fucking way. You could flip the order, and I'm not going to be absolutely astonished. I'll be really surprised. But like the Cardinals, I do think are going to be good. The Rams are going to be good. The 49ers are going to be good, and the Seahawks are going to be good. All of them are going to be good football teams this year. None of them. I'd be surprised. I think 7 and 9 is going to be the lowest.
I think there's a chance that we see all 4 teams in the playoffs.
Yeah, especially with 7 spots. It's very, very possible. Would not shock me. Let's get into it. We both agree, so I'm just going to kind of run it down. We'll kind of round table this conversation. We have Seahawks at 1 with a 205. Over or if you bet on the Seahawks to win the division, you're getting 205 odds according to Bovada. You have the 49ers at 2, the Rams at 3. And the Cardinals at 4. Look, for the most part, Bovada does actually agree with us, except they probably have the 49ers and Seahawks switch. But other than that, they do agree with us on the rankings. Where do you want to go with this first?
Gosh, there's so many storylines here. Like you said, I'm not as high on the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are going to be in 4th place no matter what, with a very promising year, though.
Yeah.
They're not going to be a bad team. They're making steps in the right direction. I look for maybe next year or the year after that. So 1-2 years later.
Yeah, it's a 3-year rebuild, and they're in year 2.
And and this is where we need to start seeing that improvement. Year 3, they should be good to go. They should have the floor on the gas. They'll be good. But the Rams, I don't know what they're going to be. I don't know what they're going to do. Sean McVay is a great coach. You have Jalen Ramsey. You have Aaron Donald. You have all these names. Cam Akers on offense, it looks really promising. Mm-hmm. Van Jefferson has stepped up into that number 2, and they love him. Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp. What do you not like?
Weapons.
Andrew Whitworth on the line.
Weapons. They could be number 1 in their division.
Exactly.
It wouldn't shock me.
I just don't see how it's going to go, though, because these guys have to square off against each other twice out of the year. That Seattle twice, 4 with 49ers, 6 with the Cardinals. Gosh, how do you see them getting through that?
Man, that's really where I was at with it.
Yeah, they're going to beat up on each other.
When I kind of went through this division, I was like, look, I have to go through and find the argument of why they could fail, right? That's really how I had to look at this at each team. You know I'm higher on the Cardinals than you are, right?
Yeah.
So putting them at 4 was very difficult for me, but the how they could fail is very obvious. Their defense is not going to be good this year. I think their offense is going to be awesome. I think they're going to be a super fun team to watch.
And the way that they fail is it just takes another year.
And look, I think there's a possibility possibility that Kyler Murray goes the fuck off and leads this team to a division spot and, 1 or 2 in this division, or excuse me, a playoff spot and a 1 or 2 in this division. I think that's a real possibility. I'm not calling for it, obviously, because I have them at number 4, but I do think it's a possibility. It would not shock me. Then you go to the Rams, and it's like, man, yeah, they have all these names, but they did not look like a cohesive unit last year, especially on defense. And I wonder how much of a cohesive unit they're going to be this year. And the other part of it is the way they've constructed their team feels very top heavy. And I get nervous about that. So that's why I put the Rams down.
You can't just get superstars and expect them to gel.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, I'm not excited about their offensive line. I love Cam Akers. I think they're going to kind of go back to what they did and what they did well in that Super Bowl run where they went to the Super Bowl, lost to the Patriots. And a lot of that was off the back of the run game. Obviously, they're going to have to add wrinkles there because they can't just revert back 2 years and expect it to work out against defenses that are ready for that. But I do think that's going to be their bread and butter. I think Cam Akers is going to be very good at doing that. I think they're going to win a lot of football games. I think they're going to be right on the cusp of the division or the second spot in that division. Actually, I don't. I think they're going to be right on the cusp of a wild card spot. I don't know about this division because you have the 49ers and Seahawks.
So good.
And the way I look at it and my reasoning, and I just kind of want to go down, my reasoning for why the Seahawks are over the 49ers, because I think they're really good on both sides of the ball. Look, the 49ers probably have a better defense than the Seahawks. That's totally fair. But when I look at the Seahawks offense, yeah, I think Russell Wilson is a far better talent, and I think he's the great equalizer. And, quarterback is always the great equalizer in football. And I think he's going to be the reason that the Seahawks are able to outlast the 49ers. And look, people forget, the division came down to the wire last year.
Yes.
Like the
difference in a 1 seed and a 5 seed.
Yes, the 49ers were the last team to guarantee the 1 seed because they had to play at the very end of the season. They had to beat the Seahawks at the very end of the season to get into that 1 seed.
Well, and that game was down to the wire.
That game was down to the wire.
It's not like it was a blowout.
No, it wasn't. And shit, the week before they were playing the Atlanta Falcons.
15 minutes away from them
being the 5th seed, and who knows how the entire Super Bowl could be different.
Yes.
The entire Super Bowl could be different.
You do not want to have to go through the 12th man in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's tough. That's so tough. So, look, I have the Seahawks edging them out this year. I think this is the year, and look, maybe I'm just buying into the hype because we're going to get into our Super Bowl picks and stuff. Maybe I'm kind of giving it away right now. Maybe I'm buying into the hype, but I do believe that Russell Wilson is going to. I think they're going to take the training wheels off, not training wheels, but I think they're going to step away from being a run first football team and say, hey, if we act like it's the fourth quarter and the first quarter, we're fucking unstoppable. Because Russell Wilson is the best deep ball thrower in the NFL. They still have a good run game, but they have 2 weapons on the outside. They have a weapon at quarterback. They have good running backs. Yeah, their offense is going to be really good, and their defense is good. Their defense is a lot better than it was 2 years ago.
Well, when you have Pete Carroll who gets to manage it, too, I mean, he can make those guys who are average great.
Yeah. They'll be fine. And look, there were only a couple pieces away last year, and if they added those right pieces, I don't know. I have questions there, but I think they're going to be a really good football team.
I legitimately think that if you were to flip the 1-5 last year with Seattle, I think whichever team goes to the 1 or the 5, Seattle's at the 1, they're going to the Super Bowl. 49ers at the 1, they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
These teams are so good. I look at it, the 49ers, how well coached they are, how well of a system it is on offense with the running back by committee approach and Jimmy Garoppolo being able just to manage the offense and get his team down the field. That defensive line for the 49ers is so scary.
It's unstoppable.
Their secondary is good, too. I mean, you still have Sherman up top. You have some serviceable corners there.
Yeah.
Seattle, I do think it's Russ. I think it's Russ's year. I think it's been Russ's year. He is such a great talent to think that they found him in the 3rd round where they did. And you're right, though. They still decide to run the ball. They still decide
to go run first.
To have this scheme that they want to put down and do it. And then they're like, dang, we're down 10 with 8 minutes left. Hey, Russ.
Get us 2 touchdowns real quick.
Help us.
And he does it every year. Yeah, every week.
He has no problem doing it.
Yeah.
So, they're going to still have that same identity. I still think that if they were just to trust Russ a little bit more.
Yeah. Let him loose. Let him loose. So I think we're on the same side. Look, it's Russell over Garoppolo is what it came down to.
Would argue this division though.
Yeah.
If you had to change it, if you had to change this from Seattle 49ers, Rams, Cardinals, change it. If you had to.
Yeah, if I had to do it, I'd probably just go 49ers, Seahawks. That feels like the most likely change.
I would go 49ers, Rams, Seahawks.
Really? So you think the Seahawks could be third in this? Yeah, you're absolutely right. They 100% could be. I mean, it could go any way.
That would be me, of course, denying what I truly believe in the Seahawks being good, but the Rams getting back to their old ways and, having that legitimate team in Super Bowl push.
Listen, man, at the end of the day, if one team is going to be number one, the other team has to be number two. Not everybody can be a top 10 team. Not everybody can make the play. So you have to, good teams miss every single year.
These are 3 top 10 teams.
Yeah.
They're going to be battling it out.
I do agree. This is the best division in sports right now, right? In the NFL especially. All right, so let's move on. Do you want to do our season-long picks, or you don't want to do prop bets first?
We'll do season-long.
All right, yeah, because I feel like this is going to work. All right, so my Super Bowl team. We're going to Super Bowl MVP, rookie, and defensive player of the year. Yeah. All right, so my Super Bowl pick are the Seattle Seahawks.
There we go.
Beating the Indianapolis Colts in the Super Bowl.
You almost said New England.
I did.
You had me.
I did. Look, I think
Seattle
and Colts. Listen, I always go weird. I always try to avoid the cookie cutter pick.
Yeah.
Last year I took what I take. I think I took Colts over the 49ers last year. That was my pick, and I was right. I had the 49ers nailed. Now, granted, that was before Drew Luck retires. But look, obviously, if you put a gun to my head and said which team's going to the Super Bowl, I'd probably go Chiefs and take the safe bet. But man, if I look at it, I think the Colts are going to have they're built for playoff football. First of all, that's what they're built for. They are going to be a run first, really good defensive football team. I feel like they've added the final pieces to their team to be a dominant force. And look, I've kind of come full circle on this. I really believe that with the presence of a Phillip Rivers. Look, Phillip Rivers is going to be in the best position he's ever been. He has an offensive line. He has weapons all over the field. He doesn't have to push the ball downfield. He's not going to be asked to do things he's not capable of doing. He doesn't have to play
Russell Wilson hero ball.
Yeah, at this point in his career, I think he's going to be really, really good at managing the game, managing the clock. He's not going to be in a situation where in the fourth quarter he has to throw 2 picks, because that's what happened all year last year. That's why the Chargers got rid of him, and that's why the Chargers were a top 10 pick last year. He is in a much better situation. He's going to manage the game very well. He's going to make plays when he needs to. He's going to hand the ball off to Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor. He's going to get the ball out of his hands quick to a Paris Campbell and a Michael Pittman Jr. and a T.Y. Hilton. Right there, by the way. And then on the flip side, their defense was really good last year, and I think they're great this year. I think the final piece was the DeForest Buckner ad and at the defensive line position, because they have a great secondary, they have a great linebacker core, and now they have a really, really good defensive line. I'm very excited for the Colts this year. And the Seahawks, we already talked about it. Look, I think this is the year for Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson is going to have an absolute dominant season, and the Seahawks are gonna be on their way to the Super Bowl.
Wow. We differ on both teams.
Yeah.
I think both of these teams are going to be in the playoffs. Seattle and Indianapolis very well could have deep runs. I still have the Titans edging out the Colts for that division. I just think the Titans, it's theirs with Derrick Henry and their style of play, but the Colts, you could easily paint me that picture like you just did. And I believe it, but I will go with a safer cookie-cutter approach as I did last year. I had the Chiefs making it to the Super Bowl, not winning it last year. I had the Saints on the other side, making it and winning it last year.
So we put them together. We were right. I mean, we were dead on.
I had one. You had one. Together, we're right. So
I think that could be the same thing this year.
This could be.
These are the 4 teams. One of these 4 teams is going to Super Bowl guaranteed.
So you should take half of us. I have the Chiefs and the Saints. I have the Saints losing to the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs winning it all. Patrick Mahomes is going to go back to back. I like their team as a whole. How can you not? I mean, the way that they do things. If you're able to have Patrick Mahomes, and look at their playoffs too, how unconventional it was of them to be down so much and then still come back. I mean, you can just never count them out. And with the weapons that they have, they only got better. The Saints, I think that with Drew Brees, they have been wronged so much by the NFL. They have. I mean, with
I don't agree more.
I don't know if it's maybe the football gods punishing
3 years in a row. I mean,
3
years in a row. Look, and granted, I don't think last year's loss to the
last year was not a flag.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Beat. But they got beat in the last second kind of fashion, the same way they had 2 years before. But still, I mean, I couldn't agree more. Who did you have winning? Did I miss that?
The Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs winning.
I have the Chiefs winning.
Okay,
which means you need to take the Chiefs and Seahawks. I think that's
it was your team that lost beat my team that I was projecting to lose last year.
Yeah.
So technically it would be the Saints Saints beating the Colts in the playoffs this year. That would be the pick.
We would go all the way back to that.
Yeah, that would be a weird one.
I think it was like in 2008 or something.
Oh wow, yeah, that would be a rematch. Oh, that's a good one. All right, that's a fun one. Who do you have at MVP?
Patrick Mahomes.
All right, so you had the Chiefs beating the Saints. I had the Seahawks beating the Colts, and I had Russell Wilson as MVP. So we're right in the same ballpark there. I think we kind of already explained it.
Is that Super Bowl? Yeah, that's Super Bowl MVP, right?
Yeah, Super Bowl MVP. Yep. Or no, I had overall MVP. That was my MVP.
Mahomes total. Is my overall.
Yeah, I was gonna say either way, it's gonna be the same. And then Rookie of the Year. Look, I think it's gonna be between one of these two guys, right? I don't think it's right. It's Joe Burrow. It's probably Joe Burrow. I'm taking CEH as my official pick.
You're taking Clyde Edwards.
I'm taking Clyde Edwards as my official pick. I think he's going to have just an absolute awesome rookie season and have one of those rookie seasons that are running back that just pushes it out, edges him out. That's what I was going for. That just edges him out of the Joe Burrow conversation. Joe Burrow, top quarterback in this class. I agree with you. It's a quarterback competition, so it feels like a very easy pick for Joe Burrow.
I'm Joe Burrow.
Yeah, you're Joe Burrow.
It has to.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I think that if you look at the years past, I think he is probably one of the most well-equipped guys going into it. And I like some of the pieces offensively that the Bengals have. All you got to do is get 6 or 7 wins with Kyler Murray won it with 3,000 passing yards.
Yeah.
He had 600 with his feet and some touchdowns in there. It's not like it was a bad year.
Yeah.
But Clyde Edwards is going to have a Saquon-like year to be able to take.
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And look, I mean, have we ever seen? Look, number one quarterback. We don't even have to compare number ones to number ones, but a number one quarterback to go into a situation to have the amount of weapons he has. Hall of Fame wide receiver, not in his prime anymore, but a Hall of Fame wide receiver, a great running game, other weapons at the wide receiver position, pretty good tight end.
All Burrow has to do is go out there and not throw 30 interceptions.
Yeah.
It's his.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And then defensive rookie of the year, I went a little bit against the grain. I think we both agree at the end of the day. Your final pick is Chase, right?
No.
Oh, you're not going Chase.
It's not Chase Young. It should be Chase Young, and it is most likely going to be Chase Young.
But let's take Chase Young out of the conversation.
It's so hard to just do the normal.
It's not fun. Yeah, it's not fun. We don't gain anything.
Mine's Isaiah Simmons.
You took Isaiah
Simmons for the Cardinals. I think he's going to be one of those guys who's polarizing. He's going to be making plays all over the place with the tackles, the fumbles, the interceptions, the flair that he brings to that defense, and a defense that truly needs it right now.
Yeah,
it's him.
Yeah, I took Patrick Queen, another linebacker in the first round with the Ravens. I think.
Wow, in Baltimore though.
I think he's going to be in a perfect position just to rack up.
It's hard
tackles.
to shine with all those names, ain't it?
Oh man, I think they're going to put him in a perfect position. I think he's going to be all over the field. He's going to be that true just Mike linebacker, just flying all over the field. He has speed for days. He tackles like a motherfucker. I think he's going to be a dominant player. I'm very excited to see what he can do.
We could be looking at one of the first times ever that we have seen the 1 and 2 pick 3 years in a row be the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. Yeah. Because it was Baker, and then you go to the other defensive, Bosa, Kyler. I mean, we're looking at it.
It's probably going to do that at the end of the day. It's probably going to, but he has had a bad camp, so that might be something to mention.
Who has?
Chase Young, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he said he's had an underwhelming camp, I guess is what you would say.
Well, I guess when you say that he is better than both Bosa's combined coming into the draft, I mean,
it's tough to live up to that kind of hype.
Yeah, that's pretty high up there.
All right, guys, this is my favorite part of the show. I like talking season long bets. These are my favorite things to bet on because it's fun, right? Like I like rooting for players. I like having a little bit of skin in the game. So these are my favorite prop bets. And this week we did a little bit different. Last week we kind of both decided. This week I took the prop bets, and you're kind of discovering them as you're looking at the screen right now. These are my favorite prop bets in the NFC. We did AFC last week, so this is the NFC prop bets according to Bovada. The first one I want to talk about is Kenyon Drake, over under 975 rushing yards.
I think you're going to take the over.
I am taking the over, yes. Okay, Kenyon Drake is going to be over 975 rushing yards. I think he's going to crush 1,000 yards this year. He had over 600 yards in 10 games with the Cards last year. And I mean, like, a turnaround like nobody's ever seen. Like, he was traded to, I believe he was traded to the Cards on a Tuesday and played on a Thursday. Like that kind of turnaround and got multiple touchdowns. It was a ridiculous.
He got fantasy player of the week a few times.
I believe so. Yeah. So I think he's going to be the lead and only back on this team, assuming for health that he stays healthy. He will crush 1,000 yards if he plays 16 games.
Crush.
Damn.
No, I think he's going to hit
11. I put him at 1,100 yards in my projections. So I have him almost. I have him almost 200 yards more than what the over under is. I feel very confident in taking the over here.
You know what? I was about to say I'll take the under.
Really?
There's a lot of things going on with this offense, and there are ways that I could see Chase Edmonds being used in the running game just a little bit.
Enough.
Just enough to where if he gets 300 yards, that could easily keep Kenyon under.
Oh, I don't even think it would. I think Kenyon's still I think he's gonna have a dominant season. That's fair. I'm glad you disagree with me.
Yeah,
that's
fine.
fine.
Not a straight up disagreement.
Yeah, but you wouldn't bet on it, I guess. Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. That's good. I'm glad we have a little bit of a balance there because I'm gonna get a little bit hyped on some of these takes because I'm excited about most of them.
Yeah.
Todd Gurley over under. Oh God, I lost it. Over under 10.5 rushing touchdowns.
You are going to say under.
Yes.
Yes. I like it because I know what you like to do. So 10.5 touchdowns. There's just so much going on with that team. How can you say that he's going to do?
Listen, I do agree with you.
11 rushing touchdowns. That's a lot.
Yeah, 11 rushing touchdowns just feels like a lot to me, and I get it. Part of this is injury. Todd Gurley's had a serious injury history, and when you're betting on a season-long guy who has a very good chance of missing games, that's just look. You don't root for him to lose. This is one of those things where I believe he wouldn't hit it if he played 16 games for Atlanta. So I'm going to say under, but then you have that added balance of.
You said that you don't think even if he plays 16, he'll hit it.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of touchdowns for.
That is a lot.
It's just rushing because you take out the passing touchdowns.
I thought it was as a whole. I thought he could get a rushing. Every single year that he's been in the league, he's had at least 2 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah,
that
take that away.
The total. Okay.
Take that away. Yeah, just rushing touchdowns. 11 feels like a very, very high number. So yeah, I feel very confident with that. I think this line is just a little bit too low.
That's fair.
All right.
This next one we are going to argue.
Are we?
Robbie Anderson over under 775 receiving yards.
Yeah.
It's over.
No.
Because of his usage in the offense, and this is where me and you will argue because of your Curtis Samuel take. Go ahead.
Listen, Robbie Anderson.
Go ahead.
Is for actually, I want you to go first. I'm gonna look up his stats season long. Go first on Robbie Anderson. Tell me why he's gonna get over 800 yards.
Because I believe that he is the number 2. I believe that he's gonna be out there for a lot of the time on the field. He's a good route runner. He was the number 1 option at New York, and I can't say it off the top of my head, but I would like to hope last year he put up 779 yards. Given that Sam Darnold was sick on his deathbed, how dare you use these stats against me like that?
Look, because I forgot to put it in the rundown, but I did look this up. I wanted to have it exact. All right, so I'm.
I stand by it.
All right, so he beat that over-under by exactly 4 yards last year as the number 1 receiver on his team.
Listen, that's off of 52 catches.
I know it's the Jets. I don't think 52 catches is a lot for the third receiver on a football team.
He's not the third receiver.
He's the third receiver. I'm telling you guys that right now. Curtis Samuel's number 2. Robbie Anderson is number 3. I stand by that.
When we line up week 1, look at who's going to be at the X and the Y.
Oh,
week
come on.
6, I don't know.
No. That's not fair. I'm saying that by the end of the year, the targets and yards, he is the third receiver on his team.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Well, I'm not going to sit here and shit on Curtis Samuel.
That's totally different. Yes, yardage and targets, he is not going to hit 775 yards. That's too much for him.
What's Teddy going to throw for in your head?
Teddy's going to throw for, this is just a number off the top of my head. I don't have it up for me.
We're good. You don't have to back it.
4,200.
4,200. So DJ Moore's going to have a 1,000-yard year.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's probably going to have a 600.
Probably 800-ish.
Yeah. Curtis Samuel.
I see where you're going with this. I don't know.
Mathematically, there is
800. Yeah, there's always a chance. Of course, it's an over-under for the reason.
They paid the man.
Oh, they didn't pay the man that much. They didn't pay. They signed him.
They paid him more than what you would think of Robbie Anderson money. Oh my gosh!
We're looking it up.
Here we go with the dollars. $20 million.
Worth $20 million with $12 million in 2020. Okay, I didn't realize they paid him that much. $12
million in 2020 is money.
That's a lot more than I thought it was.
You're not going to use $12 million. That's more than Larry Fitz.
That's a lot more than I thought it was.
Now, is it a smart deal?
More.
No, it's not smart. They had the cap to do this. I don't know if Robbie Anderson's going to be able to live up to that hype.
Base salary that's wrong. Oh, it's yearly cash is $12 million. Base salary $4 million. Signing bonus $4 million. Okay, yeah, no, it's still $12 million.
Yeah, that's okay. 12. The math checks out there.
All right.
If you're gonna pay the man, you got to use the man.
They overpaid him. 12.
They overpaid him.
They way over fucking paid him. You paid. Look, he couldn't do shit with the Jet. Look, he was okay. He was the wide receiver 1, so people knew his name. People were paying attention to him, but he did nothing special with the Jets. There's a reason they let him go.
What was he supposed to do?
be a wide receiver 1 on your football team.
Sam Darnold was sick.
Okay, he wasn't sick all year.
He was sick 7 weeks out of the year. That's half of the year.
DJ Moore had a backup throwing him to all year. I don't want to hear the excuses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. DJ Moore's not Robbie Anderson. I'm not sitting here comparing that. Robbie Anderson is a decent wide receiver. DJ Moore should be a breakout.
I'm taking the over. They have the juice on the under.
Taking the over?
Or, excuse me, I'm taking the under.
I was about to say, why are we arguing?
My bad. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Let's get off the rails. All right, look, I'm taking the under at 775 yards. I don't believe it's going to go there. Look, they're going to be a high-flying football team. They could absolutely hit it.
Do you not think he's capable, or he just won't see the looks?
I don't think you'll see the looks. I don't think you'll get the targets. Okay. Yeah, look, and you're not wrong. Obviously, he has the opportunity. And I just talked about the Panthers earlier in this pod, talking about how much they're going to throw the ball, how they have no defense. They're going to have to be all offense this year. So the opportunity is there. I think that if you look at what Robbie Anderson is going to be, he's going to be that deep threat guy down the field, right? We both agree on that. Well, what have we not really ever seen Bridgewater do?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Listen, I'll make you a bet right now for next week. Since week 1, we get to throw out these bets. A 3-shot bet has to be paid on the start of the video next week. Robbie Anderson, 50 receiving yards, week 1.
Give me 60, I'll do it.
59.
All right, 59.5. All right,
yeah,
deal? 59.5. All right, well, we got it locked in. I'll do the shots. Well, we'll do it during the intro. How was that sound?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, fair enough.
Come on, Robbie Anderson.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. All right, we'll move on. That's a great bet. I love that.
Watch him not get a fucking target.
I want to do that every single week. That would be fun. A shot bet every week.
Yeah, I just didn't put Robbie Anderson on that one if we're doing just one.
59.5. Right. You're going to have to take 3 shots if Robbie Anderson doesn't get 60 yards.
Run it.
All right, Matthew Stafford over under 41.50 passing yards.
Oh, I know me and you both will be smashing.
Yeah, for reference, just this is all according to Bovada. Bovada has Jared Goff getting 43.50. Bovada has Tom Brady getting 42.25.
Goff at 43.50.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's a running attack.
Yeah, so I think, look, I wasn't willing to put that. I'm not saying Goff can't get there, but Matthew Stafford's going to crush that over. He is going to absolutely murder that over. I really believe.
Well, they're a passing team with the weapons.
He was on pace for 5,000 yards. Look, I've seen some people say that they want to be a run first football team, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you have Matthew Stafford. You're going to be probably a more balanced attack, but you're still, look, they were on pace for 5,000 yards last year. They're going to crush 41.50. I really believe
4,000 divided by 16, 250 yards a game.
Yeah, he's crushing.
Stafford's going to have somewhere he tips into the 400 range.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Look, he was having an MVP type season last year. If he is healthy, he crushes 41.50.
Yeah,
that's one I've already put money on. I'll be honest with you guys. Next one, Evan Ingram. He has gotten a ton of buzz from the Giants. People have talked about him. His beat writers and stuff have talked about him being the number 1 receiver on this team as a tight end. Over under 4.5 receiving touchdowns. Look, this is not something he's done historically in his career. He did it in his rookie year. Last 2 years, he's been hurt. He got 3 touchdowns over the past 2, in each of the past 2 seasons. Look, I'm projecting a breakout performance for Evan Ingram. If he is healthy, he will crush 5 touchdowns.
Yeah, I would say the over as well. I think Daniel Jones is good for 25-ish touchdowns.
Yeah,
they got to break off somewhere.
Yeah. No, I
Darius Slayton are going to do pretty good.
I think it is a good over-under. I'm not sitting here saying that's just a crazy number. It's a good over-under, but all together, I do think that this is set up to be.
Health and tact is one of the things that goes against them, and the Giants overall being a bad team. But that means they got to pass the ball.
Yeah.
And he's a great target.
And at the end of the day, Evan Ingram is a mismatch no matter where you line him up on the field. He is an absolute mismatch. All right, next one. I'm always going to get shit for mentioning Tom Brady and anytime we talk about
even if you're for him.
But I don't think I'm going to get shit this time because I think this is a crazy number. Tom Brady over under 10.5 interceptions.
That's disrespectful. Has he done that once in his life?
He's done it a couple times. Look,
maybe the year where he threw for 50 touchdowns.
Yeah, look, he had 11. He's not had 11 touchdowns a lot in his career. I looked it up. Yeah. Excuse me, 11 interceptions. I think he had 11 3 years ago, the year they went to the Super Bowl. But I would be very surprised. Granted, this should be a high flying attack, but with Leonard Fournette there and Tom Brady as careful as he is with the football, I really believe if he's throwing 11 or more interceptions, he might hit 11. If he hits 11 at week 16 or something crazy like that,
if he has
it would shock me.
Like of old where he was throwing like upwards of 40+ touchdowns, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But the ratio,
I don't think that's happening.
The ratio for Tom, I think he's going to be a 28-6 kind of guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying as well. I would be shocked he goes under 10, but he's not getting anywhere. If you think he's getting anywhere near 12 or 13, you're crazy. So at 11, that feels like a whole lot to me. I don't think he touches double digits. I feel pretty confident in that. But I will say with the juice, Bovada gives the juice to the over, so it's actually a plus 110. So if you bet $10, you're winning $11 essentially. If you bet the over, and then the under is at minus 145. So if you bet $10, you're winning $5 back. Yeah. So you're getting like $15 back. So that's where like Bovada knows this is a bad bet, or that the under is more likely. Last one that I have for you guys. Terry McLaurin over under 975 receiving yards.
It's got to be over.
Yeah,
or else you think Washington's just not going to pass the ball at all.
Yeah, I think it's over. Look, last year was a breakout performance in a season that had a lot of quarterback turnover. He had 919 yards, I believe, in 14 games.
Yeah,
I think
he didn't play too.
That's on 58 receptions. He is poised for a breakout year. I would 100% expect a breakout year. He's breaking 1,000 yards. I think it's a sign, seal, deliver. I feel very confident he's going to hit over 1,000.
Out of all the ones you've said, I would take that one.
Yeah,
the most confident.
Yeah, that's a pretty confident one. Look, over-unders are hard. It's always difficult to...
That and the Stafford one. Those are the two that I would say...
Those are the best ones. I think Evan Ingram's another one that's a very, very good bet. And I feel really good about Kenyon Drake. But I do understand your trepidation on all those. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please, if you're listening on the podcast, check out our picks for week 1 as well. We're about to record that right after we finish up here. Guys, check out, go like, subscribe, and comment on YouTube and get a chance to win this T.Y. Hilton jersey. We are so excited for week 1. Please, please, please don't let me show how much of a bitch I am taking shots and let Jacob lose our 3-shot bet on Robbie Anderson. I never thought I'd put 3 shots on Robbie Anderson in my entire life.
Me neither.
But here we are.
I'm not proud of it.
Not proud of it.
Not proud of it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Check out our picks for week 1. Peace out, guys.
7.